All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do top 10 from America's best comics, made by Alan Moore, Gene Ha, Zander, and Todd Klein. Yeah, let's dive in because there's so much going on in this comic. So, short version, there is a guy that blew his brains out because of some kind of a dead body that they found, and they found a witness, or, you know, what, not really a witness. He was probably a drug runner for the guy. So they picked up a dead guy, and that guy's getting interrogated, and he blew his brains out, during the middle of the interrogation, which was pretty wild, and basically starts from there. Also, it seems that people are living under a bridge with giant ACs. What is this? It looks like, I don't know, a cooler from a PC or something, right? And these two are working for, the police department. So I guess this whole comic is more like police department with superpowers, and it's not really, fighting really super villains, but just, cops doing their job. And there's a lot of banter and gossip. For instance, so these women here are talking, and she says, "Hey, do you know the new gal Slinger? I heard she went for a beer with Jackie Phantom. You think she's a les?" So yeah, Slinger is the blonde girl that can control toys, and she's the newbie on the force, right? And so she's now the talk of the town, and so basically these women complimenting themselves a little bit. But he says, "I don't know. Either way, you've got nothing to worry about. Your beauty, Irma, is internal. Yeah, I got kidneys to die for. Hey, what the hell makes you think you're so damn ravishing yourself? What you got what I ain't?" Well, the question is, what have you got that I haven't? And the answer is, your clothes on. Well, what's that supposed to mean? You got your clothes on too, you psychedelic jumpsuit, whatever it is. Irma, this is my jumpsuit. This is my bioengineered skin. It's just, I can move the pigments around at will. And she said, "Wait, you're naked? You mean I'm driving around with the goddamn naked Asiatic?" Some slurs. Yes, he's Asian. Right. But then this guy is hitting her, so they are in a car accident. And it's the same guy from issue number 1. He is the blind driver that has Zen powers or something, that he can see, the universe or whatever, and that guides him to the destination, all that stuff. Which is pretty hilarious. Meanwhile, we go to, I don't know, the morgue and the police department, and she is one of the head honchos. So this is the Gromolko guy, or whatever his name is, and the guy blew his brains out, right? And so these guys connect to that Saddles guy who was dead, like he was like a cowboy, but then without it's not a pony, without a horse, but then with some kind of a saddle that can fly. I'm not sure. All these creatures, all these characters are weird. For instance, this autopsy guy, right? Look at this. What is this design? So yeah, this whole town is filled with people with superpowers. All right. Anyway, there's also some kind of a murderer on the loose called Libra, and there is also a invisible person that likes to grab women, if you know what I mean, in the buttocks. So, so this canine furry guy who's, I don't know, calling the big shots, is, having a briefing, and they're telling, "Hey, you go there with your team." And so there is some, how do you say, so these guys need to go to the prostitute section of the town, where they need to check on some prostitutes because of some disturbance and all that stuff. And while Slinger and Smacks, I'm calling him Smacks, is handling a request for assistance, because the two women here are, the other ones are involved in an accident, so they need to help. So yeah, okay, they are going into the car, right? And like I said, we have all these kids having superpowers. It's just so weird. And so Smack says, "Here you were hanging out with Captain Billy's with Jackie Kowalski last night. You another of these dyke feminists? I'm laughing already. None of your business, but since you asked, no, I'm not a homosexual. To be perfectly honest, right now I'm not anything sexual. So this comic is from, I don't know, let's find out where this comic is from. Does it say? It's a 90s comic. If they know what's happening now with the non-binary stuff. I'm pretty sure she's joking, right? But she says, hey, I'm just looking after my dad. Can you just drop it? And she says, sure. You said your dad used to work in uniform. What's the matter? Did he retire? He says, my dad has Alzheimer's. And I thought we agreed to drop this, right? It's not like you're the most forthcoming person in the world yourself. And then they are getting interrupted because these, I don't know, group of youths calling themselves the Fabulous Fivers are, you know, making a ruckus here. And so it seems that these kids are the, you know, the sons of this guy is calling themselves Gogra. And he's a drunk, and Asmax is taking him out. He says, yeah, you're going to jail, right? And he says, hey, boys, you young whippersnappers wrong on home while me and Ernesto continue our conversation. Also, I'm lecturing about that he's a bad parent. Gogra, shut the hell up. You're going to be off the streets for a while. And then they're also booking this blind guy in. He says, I don't drive the cab. The universe drives the cab, right? And a lot of details in here. I like it. Meanwhile, don't switch needles, don't switch partners, don't catch storms. Sexually transmitted organic rapid mutation syndrome is a killer. Take care of yourself. So this girl is a prostitute called Immune Girl. So this guy wants to is paying her money, and then, you know, one of the cops with electro powers says, hey, what are you doing here? Stop right there. So this guy's trying to get away, and he reminds me of Bouncing Boy of Legion of Superheroes. Probably they all, you know, steal the designs, right? But it doesn't matter. So he's getting a shock, static shock. And this girl says, well, this ain't how it looks. I was just asking the guy for a spare change. Hell with my rent. And he says, hey, you only got $20. That's not going to fly. So he doesn't believe her. And she says, my name is Shirley Doffman. I'm 18 years old. And, well, she says, well, 18 years, sweetheart. I heard enough babies of 18 weeks that could lie better. What is this? This immune girl? I got a super immune system, so I can't get AIDS or storms or none of that. And she's basically crying and said, hey, please don't book me because my mother, I need to take care of her, right? And so this guy's peeing himself. And he says, I just gave her some money. You shut up. Now, what is this about your mom? She's bedridden. She depends on me. Please. She don't know how to do this. I'm begging you. And then everybody is, you know, chiming in here, and he decides to let them go. He says, I don't want to see you again, so get rid of him, or else I'm going to book you, right? And you're going to jail. And so this other cowboy, who is also a police guy, is sending these girls off. And but these girls are not impressed because it seems that this guy has, I believe, connection to Large March. And Large March is basically the, how do you say, the person that, the chief of hookers. I'm not sure, there's probably another name for that. A pimp, yeah, but then a female one. You know, like back in the West, like burlesque days. Probably there's a word for that too. I'm not sure. But he's a little bit worried because Captain Trainer wants to see him about what happened to Gromolko, you know, the dead guy. Because what happened, well, in the last issue, he's standing next to Gromolko, but he had his weapon, right? So Gromolko took his weapon and blew his brains out, which is, of course, not normal protocol because if you are in an interrogation room, you shouldn't have, you know, weapons with you. So he feels responsible that the Gromolko blew his brains out. Meanwhile, we have a car accident, the replacement cards ads, and the Church of the Great Hole in the Ground. And MODOK? 2 MODOKs. So Smacks comes in and comes to this precinct, right? He says, Ernesto, nice to see you again so soon. I'll just put ditto on the yesterday entries, okay? And who's this? Looks like a new face. Bob Blanchard Booker at your service, lady. So these guys are getting booked. But then Irma, I believe, or Imra. Wait a minute. Let me. Is it Imra? Slinger. Okay, doesn't matter. That's probably her superhero name. She feels she feels a little bit bad for this guy because in the first issue she took a cab. You know, he was the driver, and basically he took her here, right? She wants to plead not guilty, so she's tried to talk to some guy or a person that maybe can help this guy, right? And all right. And it seemed that Ernesto was also the son of some kind of a other, some guy that was really famous monster in the 50s and all that stuff. But then they go to the mess hall, and this is Imra. Smack's still freezing you out, huh? Well, you can just come and sit with us. Yeah, everyone wants to know if you're a lesbian or not. I do not. Hell, Lily. Lee, why you say that for? And she says, God, what is it with you people? Me and Detective Kowalski had a beer. She's really nice, and she's also gay, which I'm not, okay? Oh, I am so sorry. Don't take notice. Don't take no notice. It's just Lee trying to get me mad. She's like a rat to a bull. Yeah, well, that's stupid. Bulls are colorblind, like dogs. And she says, wait, what? Wait a minute. What was it about? What was it what you said? About animals being colorblind? Yeah, bulls and dogs are anyway. I thought everybody knew. And she says, right, that sneaky rat son of a bitch, he's dead. So I thought, what's going on? And then she's going to this dog guy, and she really punches him hard in the face. But we don't know what's all about. But he says, well, I deserve that. But he doesn't elaborate any further. So maybe they had some fling together, I guess. Doggy style. Oh, man. So Dwayne comes in and he says, well, I'm so sorry. I know I'm blame and it's no excuse. But then the captain says, for what? Not being able to stop a suicidal lunatic from grabbing your gun. And he says, so maybe you want some counseling. And he says, wait, counseling? Am I not getting demoted? He says, well, no. I talked to some officers and other policemen. They're perfectly fine, right? So this whole thing is getting shrugged under the rug. But then the captain gets a call, and that they need to go to a place because there is some shit going on. And meanwhile, why this is so bad with the names? She's not a protagonist. That's probably why I'm forgetting her name. Slinger. So Slinger goes to Chief Girl. I don't know her name. Detective Jackson. He said, can I have a word about this guy in lockup? And she explains that, oh yeah, before we go into, no, we have to wait here. So they go to, so these kids have seen a body in an alley, a robot and a flying guy. And so they come in and it's, oh no, it's Immune Girl. And her head is being ripped off and he's feeling really bad. Yeah, you probably should have booked her, right? And so they think it's Libra that killed her eventually. So that's bad news. So Libra is basically the big bad guy, I think. And all these superheroes are, cops with powers, are probably have an important role to play in this book, but I'm not entirely sure. Although Slinger is the main protagonist here, but she has a little role in this book. Anyway, so she says, Bob Blindshot Booker. See, the thing is, I think he might actually have these Zen powers he talks about. Well, I guess weird sensory stuff is my special area of interest. Let's go take a look at it. And so he says, you want me to do what? I want you to drive us somewhere, me and Officer Slinger. Here's the keys, right? So where you want to go? Well, you tell us. I mean, where we end up, that's where we're meant to be, right? Isn't that your line? So, and then he's driving away and we see all these people honking, shouting. And he's ramming everybody left and right. And, okay, let's skip this part. But then they are ending up at some kind of a museum, right? And so this detective is fed up and he said, you stay here because probably you're going to end up in jail because you're a fraud. And then so they are going into this library that's been ravished, and people don't care about libraries anymore because, I don't know, people lost interest and now it's all a dump. And then they hear a sound, right, that like somebody is here. And so she is throwing her toys out to represent that person that is running away. And so the toy's shooting at her and says, freeze, these are just warning rounds. My chiefs are firing. The next one won't be. I got it, sir. It's a girl. Well, what do you know? Looks like maybe this is where we meant to be after all. So, Martha Wesson, I presume? So, yeah, this was the girl that they were looking for, you know, with this saddle guy that I talked about. And she was his partner. And, you know, it looks like that, you know, when cowboys have these, how do you call them back in the day? These things on their boot that can punch, you know, prick horses to do their bidding. It looks like something like that. It leads us to the next issue, by the way. So, like I said, there's a lot of going on. I like it. It's something new and different. And I'm doing absolute... I do not know where it's going, but we're going to find out. I have to think of a title. Guys, let me know what you think about this story. You know, it's like I said, it's different. I like it. The art is good. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.